p.m. on Wednesday, May 17th, 2023, and therefore I will call this meeting of the Hanson Conservation Commission to order. This meeting is now open under the State Wetlands Protection Act, Chapter 131, Section 40, and Hanson Local Bylaw, Article 3-13, Section 5. This opening statement will apply for business conducted at this meeting. As per our standard practice, this meeting of the Commission is being audio recorded for the record. Roll call, please.
T.J. Roby.
Dave Mansfield. Cheryl Before.
Phil Clemens.
Don Woodward.
Frank Scallinger.
We also have one of our associates present.
Oh, Steve Bell.
Thank you. We have 4 of our 5 members present, so you may proceed. It's quorum. Mr. Heel gave notice earlier that he would not be able to attend tonight, so we will proceed with our agenda. The first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of May 3rd, 2023. And while the board is perusing those, I'll point out we received very, very recent notice that the representative of one of our applicants for the Lakeside Road project requested a continuance, and we'll deal with that too. But first, let's deal with our minutes. And I had looked at them, and they looked, it was never good to me, so I will wait for the board's pleasure.
The first public hearing for the people that trenched their solar system was
Page 1, okay?
Didn't we have to word the variance to approve work in the wetlands, not just within the buffer zone?
I'm trying to recall what the exact, well, the work was to remove the, fill in the trench that was in the wetlands.
Yeah, remove and remediate the trench in the wetlands, not just within the buffer zone. Wasn't the motion, wasn't the variance worded as such to allow work in the wetlands?
I believe you are correct.
Well, I'm sure the intention was to approve the work in the wetland as well as adjacent buffer zone. I don't know how it could not have been the intention. I'm looking to my left and right.
What's your recollection from the audio?
I would have to replay it. If you want to reword it, we can. It's up to you guys.
We could either revote in a precautionary manner, or we could simply approve the minutes pending confirmation of the details of that motion. So we can proceed with the rest of the items here.
That was all I had.
Sure, thank you. Any thoughts from our other 2 members? Okay. The chair would be happy to entertain a motion to approve the minutes of May 3rd, 2023, pending confirmation of the details of the motion on the hearing just referenced, the SE 175-0719.
So, second.
Any discussion? Well, that's after the second we have discussion. If there is none, we'll move to the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? 4-0-0. And we'll seek those details with your able help. Thank you very much.
I'll check it tomorrow.
Moving to the rest of our agenda, the 7 and 7:15 and 7:30 p.m. scheduled scheduled items all relate to the 3 Lakeside Road projects, which we're treating as one, and the request was made by the applicant representative to continue to June 7th, 2023, and I'm seeing a proposed time of 7:45 p.m. And they also, one of the, shall we say, the applicant's team thinks it may also need to go to June 21st, but I'm inclined to simply schedule a continuance to one date and time certain, which is June 7th, 2023 at 7:45 p.m. Any questions, concerns, or motions to that effect? So if we so vote, we will continue to June 27th, 2023 at 7:45 p.m. And again, this is the 3 Lakeside Road projects, 0752, 0753, and 0754 for applicant's request. Do I hear that motion to continue? Do I hear a second? Do I hear any discussion or concerns? Hearing none, I'll move to the vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? 3-0-1. We have continued to June 7th, 2023, 7:45 p.m. And the next item that's scheduled is for 7:45, but because that's half an hour away, I think what we'll do is we'll proceed with the other non-time sensitive items on the agenda with the expectation that the applicant and representatives, et cetera, of the hearing will arrive to pursue the other item. Discussions. There is something apparently requiring ratification. This is the emergency certification, a revised emergency certification for the beaver damming activity at the railroad culvert, causing water to rise against the roadbed. And this is at the culvert 1/4 mile north of the Hanson T station. The certification being requested by Keolis Community Services. Comments, questions, paperwork? If I'm reading this correctly. I'm seeing that the agent's hand go up.
So, Keolis did not go down and remove the dam, as they said they would. But they know they had to. So I kept after them because the emergency certification ran out on May the 3rd. That was the revised emergency cert from an earlier version. And I was told by the people at Keolis that, well, this Miss Callahan, who works for a consulting firm that they hired to trap the beavers, was responsible for the permitting. And so they were sorry they hadn't gotten the correct permit in time. And I was a little bit concerned about that because Miss Callahan and her company only do the trapping, which they had accomplished. And they don't need an emergency cert to do that from us.
From us.
They need a certification from the Board of Health. In the case of removing the dam, they not only need the Board of Health certificate, but they also need a determination or an emergency certification from conservation to work in the water, which is a resource area. So the Keolis person came in and we discussed it, and I explained to him what had to happen, and he told me that they would start tomorrow, which is the 18th.
Right.
And so I wrote him out an emergency certification for the 18th through the 28th. And Gil gave him a new permit for the 18th to the 28th. According to the rules for taking down beaver dams, they get 10 days from the time the permit is issued until it runs out. So that's why that particular date range. And so what you're going to ratify is simply the third revision of, or the second revision, the third cert of this taking down of the dam at Shumatucket River.
Well, this is actually Poor Meadow Brook, because it's below the confluence where Shumatucket and Taos Meadow, and not Taos, Gretz Brook meet.
You're sure of that?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Okay.
I've canoed it several times in my life, and it's there.
You're the expert.
Yeah, it's
So this is the
beautiful.
Poor Meadow River
It's easier to
culvert.
Yeah.
Yes, that too.
Well, I think it's clear to us. Any question about this, and if not, I would entertain a motion to approve and ratify the emergency certification as issued by our agency.
So move. Second.
Further discussion? I'll only say for the record that I would hope that in this Commonwealth where beavers are treated with multiple regulations, that the Keolis organization become better informed about how to manage it, because they'll be managing beavers for a long time. And this will not be the last time that we or any of, like, 100 other communities will have the question come before them. So we thank Dr. Scaliger for educating them. We hope they retain and benefit from it. So there's been a motion to approve and ratify this certification. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? 4-0-0. Need to be signed, or is that?
No, we should
Okay.
issue a certificate.
Okay, the paperwork has been done, we simply are on the record of approving.
Let me just say one more thing about MBTA and Keolis. I emailed a person named David Bragg. I believe he's with the DEP in Boston, about the appeal and what the status is, because I know that Keolis is going to want to start spraying and cutting, because now is the season. And he said that a new team is being put together to discuss because of the change in the administration.
Mm-hmm.
And so there hasn't been any resolution of that. He did say that the main point that they would discuss is the tree cutting in the right-of-way. And so I wrote back and I told him that our main concern was that Keolis was not properly delineating the resource areas because they were using the Mass GIS rather than going out and actually doing it. I did not hear back from him on that point, but I will continue to make it.
I would say in response or in support of that, that every other applicant would be expected to do their delineation in accordance with DEP regulations. Using Mass GIS does not comply with DEP regulations. It doesn't even come close. So, thank you for that update. We have a short list of other topics here. Conservation properties status. And perhaps we would just lump property status and management update together, unless we're talking about ownership status and deed status. I looked around the room to see if there is a desire to discuss deed status. Well, let's treat it as if the first item is about deed status. We earlier this month had a Zoom meeting with town council and town administrator, and I think a couple other parties, about how to finish the job of documenting all the necessary deeds such that the land swap, using the term loosely, of the 8.5 acres at the Webster Billings Conservation Area of the Water Department for the northern half of the Plymouth County Hospital property and the small parcel on McQuon Street. That swap can only be finalized when a survey is done of the McQuon Street property. Brook Street property, I'm sorry. All those streets with moisture on them are run together in my mind. The Brook Street property, there was a general consensus, a complete consensus that the water department should be willing and able to do that survey. We don't see any signs yet that that has been undertaken. So the chairperson will, in the next business day or two, approach the water department and see where it stands. That's literally the key to proceeding with finalizing that big project. So that's that. I'm going to actually say one other thing about open space acquisition, which is the third bulletin down there. We know that something that's on our radar is the 45 acres of Hubble, formerly light control land, south of Crooked Place. There was a conference call, a Zoom call with the Bay Circuit Alliance and various parties in other communities, including Hanson, on Monday, the 15th of this week, about where there are gaps in the Bay Circuit Trail. This is one of those gaps, that section just south of Crooked Place in our Indian Crossway Conservation Area. All the attendees were very supportive of what we've been doing. We have reached out several times to Hubble in the last year and a half, 2 years, to offer to purchase that 45 acres. And one of the parties on this call is new to the topic, but has been in positions of influence in the past and is going to help us try to open or reopen conversations with Hubble about acquiring that 45 acres. So I'm hopeful that acquisition will proceed, but I can't say that at this point in time. Property management update.
Okay, well, Sandell finished Smitty's boulder replacement. Frank's already fielded one complaint.
Was it a complaint or a question?
Complaint.
Okay. But you fielded it successfully.
The people who use it the right of way to get to their house.
They felt it was too narrow?
Too narrow, yes.
And you provided
dangerous, in fact.
You provided them with a copy of a drawing of what the legal right of way is?
Yes.
Yes. We did not make it narrower than that. That we are represented still be a little wider than that.
It's 20 feet wide. I mean, it's wide enough for a road.
If you can't drive between rocks at 20 feet apart, you should probably get your license up.
Well, I think it's this person who's probably thinking about other people driving. This person is probably proceeding at a low speed to and from their home, while other people going to the boat ramp with 5 trailers and things like that. But I would suggest that the number of vehicle trips per day through there is low enough that a moment or two of waiting and using common sense to pass into wide areas will suffice. But we're not moving the boulders back because it wouldn't be legal to move them further back.
I wonder, I know it wouldn't be legally binding, but would it make sense for a please go slow?
I think in 5 miles an hour speed limit sign,
something in there?
if we spoke to the highway department and the police department about such, I can't imagine them saying no.
Right.
And besides this person who called, I think I have, and I know others have seen, people going too fast there. Not residents, but people going to and from. You've seen it?
Oh, no, I've done it.
You've gone
admitting my guilt.
more than 5 miles an hour?
Certainly.
Let me seek what
And not by like a rounding error.
let me seek the will of the committee here, the commission. What might be a reasonable sign to put up regarding how fast to go or not go?
I mean, I don't think 5 miles an hour is an unreasonable number.
Considering the S-curves, sharp drops, narrowness of road, type of traffic.
If we can do that for the plumbers at the beach, I think we could do it for this particular situation.
I mean, essentially, it's a driveway owned by the Conservation Commission. You
Essentially,
can put up whatever speed limit we like.
and that's what I'm saying, what do we like? What do we think we like?
Well, I'm saying, it's also a really short distance. I mean, it's not that unreasonable to ask people to go slow.
It's not gonna add an hour to your commute.
Yeah. It's also not the smoothest surface you're ever gonna drive.
No, the list of reasons to go slow is a long list, and a sensible list.
They're not trying to catch a tide, but 10 minutes might make a difference.
What if we composed in the office with the agreement of the commission, a short memo to the highway and police department proposing this, and might even propose that we'd be the ones to buy the sign, I don't know. So such that, we ask for their response, and then we proceed after we get their response.
Unless highway's gonna say a 5 mile an hour speed limit time kicking around, I think we.
If they can assist us in some way in achieving this sign posted, great, but we will suggest the idea and see what they say back. How's that?
So moved.
Okay. We will proceed with that after we vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, 4-0-0.
So as far as that goes, so Dandel can.
I'll help get after them.
We can,
Okay.
give Dandel a check.
Yes, and thank you, Dandel, for that. It's, we have been, ever since we've owned it, we've realized that much more of the ground surface has been beaten down by vehicle than is legal, considering where the town's right of way is. Thank you.
So there's that. As far as, Crossway, no news there, no trash, no problem. I talked to Jameson at Highway about picking up those 3 piles of yard waste, or 2 piles of yard waste and 1 pile of construction debris. He was shorthanded the last week or two. He said he was trying to get to it soon. I didn't check on it today, so. Okay. What's the building, as usual. Rocky Run, there's tagging done in the rocks, cliff overlooking the river.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of it. I sent Lon a memo, pictures of it. And, I was trying to figure out what to do about it, so, did some research online, and, there's a lot of projects out there. I talked to Rob McDonald, he said what Wildlands has been doing is just painting over it. He said that's the actual most
Stone-colored paint.
reasonable thing to do.
So,
He and I went in and painted over it. I sent Lon before and after pictures of it. And in that light, I asked Lon to order some of those dummy CCTV cameras. Figured it can't hurt to try putting some up in a few places, not that's not the only one. So cameras are in, these are the batteries for them. I'll start putting them up.
so there'll be a red light or something.
They have a light, a red light, and they come with a sign that says, this area is monitored. Now, the kids probably know they're phony, but they probably don't really know, so maybe,
There's a little quasi-solar panel on it.
yeah. And they're cheap, so it's not like,
I presume it would be our thought to mount them high enough so that you'd have to really strive to actually harm it.
yeah, well, I get them as high as I can without carrying a 24-foot ladder.
Well, we can discuss that and, maybe.
If anybody has a really lightweight 12-foot ladder, I mean, I
We stand on Tuesday's
We
shoulder.
do? Okay.
I have 2 letters in my house.
Are they really light?
No, I don't have that criteria.
Well, I have a heavy one. I just didn't want to carry it half a mile.
I have I think it's 10-footer, the A-frame, and then I have an extending ladder. But, a comment regarding this.
Sure.
I was actually up there a few days back.
Mhm.
The spray paint can I found myself while I was up there.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently they go underneath the bridge itself, My kid wanted to go down there for some reason. So I went down there and I found a couple of spray paint cans. They were in my track now.
Under the State Street Bridge?
Yeah, I can't remember what street names, but yeah,
Well,
the bridge right there at the parking area.
Yes,
Cross
that's State Street, yes.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fairly easy to get down under there, and it doesn't, I mean, I'm a big guy, even I can manage it. It's really easy to get under the bridge there, and I found a black spray paint can down there, and then been tagged under the bridge.
Right, I think there was a little bit of color to what you saw too, Dave.
Well, I didn't go under the bridge.
No, what I'm saying is down on the rock.
On the rock, yeah, there was yellow, red, green.
Yeah.
It seems we are in a day and age in this culture, sadly, where any relatively flat, smooth, plain surface invites this sort of activity. But I think that combining our judgment with the Wildlands Trust judgment, Rob McDonald, good solution, thank you. I saw before and after pictures.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and it came out surprisingly good. I mean, the point is so it doesn't draw people's eyes to it.
Yeah,
If you know it's there and you look for it, you can see it.
because people may say that it's well, I say it's destruction of not only natural resources, but it's destructive to user experiences. You go into the woods to see green things and relax. You don't go there to see messy art. I don't, anyway. So, thank you very much for that.
I'll keep an eye on it, and at least now we know what works. Rob and I both did it, so now I've been trained at the art of blending. Untagging. Yeah, untagging. So anyway, so that's done. The blue survey flag.
Steve, you had one other thing?
I was just gonna say, because I go to Rocky Run all the time, what kind of spray paint do you use to cover it up? Because I'll bring it out, open it in a bag when I'm there.
It's not one, it's a bag of them.
No, I mean, when you're doing the cover up, if I find a rock tag, if I have something in my bag, I'll do the cover up myself.
It's a whole bag.
In other words, you use the colors
You have to try to match the color of the rocks.
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
So Rob's got a total of probably 12 different colors in it.
Gotcha.
The next time it happens, I'll buy
A kit,
so to speak. I didn't bother getting it now.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll look into that.
But rocks and our sort of surfaces come in assorted natural colors, and we try to match it. So that's what I'm hearing.
I've got a few tricks to stipple it to make it look like the lichen.
You know, in other words, restoration art.
Yeah. Blue flags are up there, so I asked them about that. And I guess no self-survey, the surveyors, or they're not surveyors, but they're dam people who've been up there.
Oh, talk to us about blue flags. We don't know.
Yeah, there's blue flags going on the dam.
Okay.
And I'm assuming, and I asked Rob about it, and he said that as far as we know, that they're from the North-South River project for removing the dam, so they've surveyed.
Okay. They probably are flagging the high water mark.
No, these are all trees.
How high?
Pretty high.
Oh, that's not the one.
They're not high water mark. I think whoever did the survey of the dam removal site flagged it to indicate they've been there. I think that's what it is.
Okay, that's an intriguing and not familiar to us use of flagging, but that's fine.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I asked Rob, and he wasn't sure, but he thought that wasn't the case.
Well,
I can't
we can easily ask.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who else would put blue flags up there.
Yeah.
So there's that.
All right.
Up there and keep the house.
The project is done at the town forest. The Boy Scout project is done. They actually raked the entire trail and cleaned up the little seating area.
The benches.
They left the benches, but they cleaned them up nicely.
Yeah. It was my concern, what I thought I heard them say when they were here, is they were going to replace them.
Yeah,
But
they did say that, but they didn't.
But the right thing to do is what they did, which is simply clean them up, because the locust logs and slabs that they made of are still perfectly sound. They were a little mossy, but the newly cleaned up ones look good.
Yeah, so that's good. The 16-foot bridge that Ed and I and Chris put in is still there and in good shape. As far as Bonnie Hill goes, lots of things going on up there. So, trail's done. Appalachian Mountain Club's done.
Yes.
I went up and drove the rest of the stakes and they hadn't come in when they finished.
Yeah.
Danville didn't have a 4-foot barrier, but they got a boulder up there.
To block the entrance near the water tower. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so that's an offset, so you can't drive a car through there. I put up more, we have those signs, no motor vehicle signs we put in.
Yeah,
So I put, there's already one at the bottom of the hill.
yes.
I put one on the tree to the right, so if you take a right, because 2 cars were spotted in there last weekend on that trail. And they called the Hanson Police, well, one of them right away, and they went right up there, called me back, and they said, whoever was there was gone. It was a green pickup truck. And Lon saw somebody in a Jeep up there. So I put more of those signs up. I got probably 6, I think, signs up there now.
I'm wondering,
Yeah, I'm gonna put some of those camera things up too.
the hard thing is, conservation really has jurisdiction and management only over the part from the foot of the hill on. But the
Right.
trail that we just have laboriously created, half of it is on this side of it, and that's what we're talking about, keeping vehicles off. The 2 points to control are by the old stone gates where it comes off High Street, that area, and behind the food pantry, that fairly wide driveway and grassy.
Well, here's what I did. If you drive in through the old stone gates,
Mhm.
there's a, right at the pavement end and our trail comes across, there's a tree. I got one of those signs on that tree.
Yes,
And then, if you were to keep going along our trail, where it kind of goes, dives down the hill there,
yeah,
and it goes on some more paved territory,
yeah.
that's where this vehicle, around so I drove up.
Gee.
I put one of those signs right there, there's an old gate post there, there's a big
Yes.
tree near it, I put one of those signs on that.
Mhm.
On the other end, if you go down the hill from the water tower, I put one on the post at the top of the hill.
Yeah, that's good.
I left the one that we already have at the bottom of the hill,
Yeah,
and I put another one out. If you take a right, you're looking right at it. If you think you can take a right and drive down that way.
Yeah.
So there's no way you can go in there without passing one of these signs. Now, whether that solves the problem or not, I don't know. But
It'd be enough.
yeah, but at least it's marked everywhere. So the people Lon saw, she got the impression, if I can speak for you, that they thought they didn't think they were doing anything wrong. They were just like, hey, this is a nice place to take a ride with the grandkids, kind of thing. So
so it was an older person, not a
I guess, I mean,
young,
Yeah, they weren't speeding or, they were just casually.
weren't speeding or
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah,
good, yeah.
right.
The green pickup truck deal is something Rob McDonald spotted, called me immediately after I get out of there. But he gave me a hairy eyeball when he walked by, so by the time the cops got there 10 minutes later, they were gone. Anyway,
It's tempting to try to come up with more enforcement strategies, but thank you for doing that, because I know from talking to the police department, signage first, enforcement then follow.
and they were very good. They sent 2 cruisers down there, and they called me back within 10 minutes. And so they didn't waste any time.
Thank you.
And they said, don't worry about it, give us a call, we'd be glad to help. So everything was good with that. So that's the story with that. Other than that, like,
What happened to the fabricated windows up there? So that,
Happened to the what?
machine or,
oh yeah, that's it.
so they're coming in the other 2 places?
Well, I
No.
think what these 2 vehicles we saw this weekend, I think they went down by the water tower to the right. That's my guess.
Where our chain is, on the other side of a tree, was a space blocked by one concrete block, wasn't enough, so now that block and a big boulder
Right.
finished blocking the access to our 25 meters. And these other signs speak to people going other places.
Did we send something to Selectmen about?
I've spoken to them, I haven't sent a document yet. I will actually be meeting with the selectmen a week from.
We
no, next
previously
Tuesday.
discussed kicking this to the
I
side.
drafted a memo, I gave it to Phil, he's holding it.
Yeah, there was an intention for the last month and a half for the hospital reuse committee, now the park committee, to meet. That committee was to continue to not meet. So I've been a little frustrated there. So I thought I would take this memo, directly to the selectmen. The good thing is, the chair of the park committee is the vice chair of the selectmen. So I think it's an appropriate topic to bring up to them.
We need them to approve the signage too, right?
We need them to be aware of the signage, because I think
I mean,
they will completely agree, but I think that and, or however they decide to proceed with physically blocking it, I can't imagine them not supporting all of that.
Oh, no, I meant the other signage along the trail.
I'm talking about that too.
Oh, yeah.
Because however the vehicles get there, everything is wrong, and the signs will help, and if they can find it in their hearts to approve blockage, maybe have called Dan Dell, like you do, and say, we need 10 more boulders, put put 2 or 3 at the stone entrance and the others all in a row at the, behind the food pantry.
Yeah.
Because there is no need for any vehicle, town or otherwise, except for a fire truck, to get through there. Maybe,
Yeah, I would imagine that's one spot where fire department access, and what part of the property is supposed to park in this setting and putting a playground in?
but quite near the water tower. That wouldn't be hindered by any of the things we're talking about, nor needed, because driving in a loop around behind the food pantry and the community garden to the water, that harms nothing. In fact, that's where the police cruise all the time. But somewhere, and this would be something for the fire department to consult on, somewhere in there, a choice could be made about where to have your removable things. Because if it stays dry the rest of the year, who knows what piece of wood will go up next.
Right. Or, I mean, God forbid somebody fall and break a leg on the trail.
All of that, yes, absolutely. But I think it's,
Although we have a gate in from the new parking lot, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that is not a problem. That's been solved by us.
But with that in mind, though, we need to get this lock spot thing, or whatever, with the fire department worked out. Because right now, we have my padlocks on. Now, I mean, they'll just bolt cut them, I'm sure, if they have an emergency, but...
We have Dave's unmatched and solo possession of the keys, padlocks on our
I had copies of all of them.
I'll reach out.
We have a good line of communication through the fire department, and we'll use that. That's what I'm hearing from our staff. I'm clear with that.
Yeah, so, I think to do it right, we need it at Smitty's, and 2 of them at Bonnie Hill.
Yeah, the, whatever, the new gate we installed, and our chain.
Right.
Down the hill.
Speaking of that, I also put a no parking sign up at the trailhead at the stairs.
Bonnie Hill.
In Bonnie Hill.
Which is good, because that, since 20 years ago, when we first proposed an easement there, the Bonnie Hill residents were very clear they would hope to be no parking there, and we promised there wouldn't be. And this,
Yeah.
it doesn't say please take notice, but it might as well.
Yeah, well, it says, parking behind 252 High Street.
It directs them, not only kicks them out of there, it says where it kicks them to 220 High Street, which is the food pantry.
Yeah, so, I think we've done the right thing from our point of view there. I mean, it is a public road, so.
Yeah, in a way, if that whole circle is public way, people don't have a lot of grounds for complaining, but we understand.
It's still a questionable intent.
Well,
That's pretty true.
Bonnie Hill Lane has been public since the day it was built, or almost since the day it was built. The extension with the circle, I don't know, but we need not go there because we want to work with them and put up the sign.
Yeah. So the sign's up, and the feedback I got from Dan Dillon from the trail crew is that 2 of the 3 homeowners down in the cul-de-sac are thrilled with it, the other one hates it, so we're in the majority.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the world of public ways, and thank you for that. Yeah, there's our hope that people who live nearby will commence to use the stairs and the boardwalk and the trail. They're meant to use it for them as well as everyone else.
I want to say something about Rocky Run and the bridge dam. The EPA is coming to Hanson the last week of this month to talk with Hanson about their proposal to make the fireworks site a, Superfund site, and that bears on the dam down at State Street.
Yes, it
Because
does.
if the EPA decides that the river needs to be cleaned up, that's going to put a crimp in taking down the dam.
Yeah, the protocols for cleaning up, it may be, and this jumps way ahead, it may be that proper cleanup would require somehow manipulating or managing the flow such that you have a dry area. You could lower the water levels and reroute the flow through culverts. This is how it's been done in other places we moved in, which then would create a dry area from which to excavate problem sediments. But that goes way ahead. Good information, Frank. Do you know the time or setting or anything on that to visit?
The last week of the month is when they're going to come, and Lisa's supposed to give me the date.
Okay. The last week of the month begins Monday, Memorial Day, the 29th. So either 30th or the 31st or somewhere close to that.
It's the week before that.
Oh.
The last full week.
So next week.
Oh,
Next week. There you go. Sorry.
okay.
Next
So
week.
somewhere between Monday the 22nd and Friday the 26th.
Right.
Hope it's not Tuesday. But thank you for that information.
I'll let you know when we hear.
Anything else from Ms. Mancy overall?
No, I think I have one enough to say.
Okay.
Good, well, I just question if the cedar trees in water.
That's what we are hearing. The cedar trees have been ordered. It's a question and the answer is yes.
That they said once they receive payment, she'll send me an email. I sent an email to Highway too, just so they're in the loop.
Yeah, absolutely, and you'd be in a little.
Yeah, the admin there said, let me know if you need anything, and she's going to let us know, so.
Yeah. Okay, it might be we need help bringing them down there, but once the holes are ready,
Yeah, they'll get delivered there.
they'll need to have a little work there. Yeah. Okay.
Where are we stashing them when we get here? That highway?
That's the receipt point, and I think our goal is I know our goal is to minimize the dwell time there, get them down and use the ground ASAP. So, but they won't ship them until we pay them, and they won't pay them until we send them a check. What does that process look like right now? Have we signed the paperwork for that yet?
Yeah, that's already submitted, so they go out
The check cycle?
today. So they'll probably get it at the end of this week or next week.
So it could be that sometime next week, next week's sounding very busy. The 22nd or later could be, or maybe the 23rd or 24th could be a shipping day, such that we'd receive it shortly before the Memorial Day weekend. What are we all doing that weekend? Are we going away?
I'll be thinking halls.
Let the digging begin.
So make any plans.
Do me a favor, remember to keep the padlock.
I got it in my
I would have to carry everything in there.
All right, folks, looking at the time, it's now 7:45 p.m. We do have on our agenda a continued notice of intent hearing regarding a new septic system for 410 Woodbine Avenue. Do we see a representative of that project here? Yes, we do. The floor is yours, sir. And the comfy chair and the table are all yours, too.
Did you make any plans?
Yeah, they're all passed out, the revised one.
Which sheet are we looking at?
Okay, these are the
I see it.
questions that Frank asked, and those are the revised plans. Thank you.
I'll have some reduced size ones if it's any easier to look at.
Okay, we put a couple of these here, thank you. And then we got to do that.
Thank you. Okay.
Appreciate that. Sharon, you want to share this one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the same one.
Well, I've got a big and a small.
Yeah, you guys should
No
have the
shortage.
revised and the small.
Okay.
Are there any trees left? All this pavement? Again, sir, what was yours?
Arthur Board from Arthur Board and Associates, on behalf of Kim McLaughlin, the owner of 410 Woodbine Avenue. A request for a order of conditions to put a septic system on this property. This is in a quick buffer zone. It's outside of your 50-foot no work zone as far as we can get it. 10 feet off the property line, 20 feet off the house. We reached out to the Hanson Water Department and discovered that this is the only piece of property out there that still is on its own private well. So we need some relief from the Board of Health for a setback. We can't meet the 100-foot radius of this. I think we can do 75. Haven't had a chance to get a final response back from them as to, so we need to have a hearing on what the deal is going to be there. The system we're proposing, pretty close to grade that's there now. There's not a lot of fill required to do it. It's an existing lawn area that will be temporarily disturbed to put a system in, and then the homes and the landscape. So she could propose erosion control. Slope that the slopes are in the corner of the house, out to the property line to the west, and then southerly up to Woodbine Avenue and wrapping around down a portion of it. Construction area is all well under control.
Okay, I believe there has been, some communication, some at least fabulous questions from our agent, John Stellinger. Frank, maybe I'll hand it over to you to review where we stand with the questions and comments you provided on, the 16th, which was yesterday. And I think that will help us with our thoughts.
Well, I reviewed the plan and gave a number of comments to the engineer through Arthur, and I received a response today from the engineer, and I looked at those and I passed my comments along to the Board of Health. All of my comments had to do with things that are in the Board of Health bailiwick.
Their purview, yes.
None of the comments that I had are in the conservation bailiwick, and I don't have any comments from a conservation standpoint. So I think we're in a position here that you can approve the order of conditions subject to approval by the Board of Health.
I guess I'm wondering, let's see, with these 9 comments, which have been responded to by the engineer, but we are not aware of any input or feedback from the Board of Health.
The Board of Health has not met on this project.
Yes. Let me float this idea. If the Board of Health requires there to be changes in the plan, then I presume the plan will change, and so it will be slightly different than what is the plan before us right now. Would it behoove us to continue until we hear from them, so that it would save the trouble save the inconvenience of approving a plan that's different from what someone else approves? I guess, I don't know if that's clear, but do you see what I'm saying?
I understand.
Should be the same funding.
Yeah.
We could certainly come back with an amended plan if there's changes to it.
Right, that's exactly my point. If they do something like relocate the well or do anything different, yeah.
I thought it might be helpful going forward with them if we had, a conditional approval from you folks that you don't, wetland-wise, conservation-wise, you don't see a problem with the work here. With the condition that, we know we need Board of Health approval.
Mm-hmm.
The order of conditions always says that if there are changes to the plan, come back.
Right.
And if the changes are significant, then you have to come back in here into a hearing. But if it's all minor stuff, we probably could approve minor modifications without a big public hearing.
Without a new hearing or other inconveniences to all parties.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the information and the comments are before us. It does seem like every question was responded to, but again, it's primarily Board of Health issues. And what's quite clear on here, as you can see, is as was stated, it's the wetland flag line is on there. The distances, there's is that a contour line or a 50-foot buffer? I don't know.
There's a 50-foot buffer line on there and contours.
Okay, there's a line there I'm looking at, it says 55, that confused me, but that's a contour line. Oh yeah, this.
The 50-foot line is dashed, it's not colored in.
Okay, I see it now. It's labeled with the arrow. 50, gotcha. And
I didn't find a color code in your regulations for 50-foot.
No, it's there. It's there.
what color would we advise them to use next time? I don't know.
I don't remember what the colors
But
are.
thank you for that.
They're in there.
We did previously approve the wetland line.
Right.
Had an interact with
Yeah.
that.
Thoughts, comments, questions from any of our members, commissioners, or associate members? For that matter, I'll just throw this over, members of the public, you folks interested in the Woodbine Avenue project, is that right?
It's our house.
Okay, then you're very interested. Who could be more interested?
Want to get
Sorry.
it done.
Yeah. I guess if you had questions or comments, you'd ask them.
Yeah.
So, here we see it. We are in a position of potentially proceeding, or unless we're overlooking something. As you know, too, just emphasizes for the record, this notes the riparian zone regarding White Oak Brook, and this is not in the inner riparian zone. It looks like it fringes the border of the outer riparian zone, just like the 100-foot setback. But the lot doesn't go any further than it goes.
Working with what we've got, it's not much.
We hear you.
Comment is, if the Board of Health for some reason does not accept this, then we'll have to get them a permit.
But as our agent says, if it's not a major change,
Right.
we could view it all as minor modification to the order conditions that we set, including the plan representing it, and that modification would enter our record. If it was a major plan, it's hard to imagine, we'd act accordingly.
Well, there's no room for anything in the major there, is there?
Not really.
Not unless more land suddenly appears,
Not like we have one.
some lava wells up out of the earth. Certainly don't want to rush anyone, but it may be that I would entertain a motion to, let's see, correct wording here.
Do you need a variance?
They're not proposing work within the 50-foot
No variance.
buffer, right?
No variance.
Okay.
So we would need that. But, as you say, the wetland line was long ago approved. This doesn't impinge the 50-foot no-touch zone. Documentation is before us. So it could be that I would entertain a motion to close the hearing and approve the project subject to special conditions, order conditions, and, should I say, subject to confirmation by the Board of Health of their approval.
So moved.
Second.
that sound appropriate to the staff? Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Any? 4-0-0. Approved subject to the conditions, the standard special conditions and the Board of Health feedback. Very important, but we know you'll be going there next.
Yeah.
So we'll sign this and the office will be available for communications. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Not our purview, but how's the water quality in your well? Doing all right for you?
That's good.
You're still living there? Yeah, almost everyone has to treat water around here.
That's no, and then have a cooker.
Even the water from the street sometimes.
Yeah, you see the lines and the big amounts. Definitely.
Well, we look forward to progress and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Dave.
Good night.
Hey, we also have some business regarding invoices. Thank you for this. Yeah, we'll start with that one.
This is just a copy that we have larger one that are already in the control system,
Okay.
and then I just added. And then one.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
But, by the way, just remaining. We've looked very carefully, and are still putting together the summary for the town administrator, at the funding for the Bonnie Hill Trail project and all the ancillary things that have come to be part of that project. And we're very highly confident that everything that's been done is certainly eligible for coverage either by the grant, which there's a little bit left, or by the CPC money, which supplements the grant, which was approved long ago by town meeting.
Right.
And what we're doing right now, pending your agreement, is we're adjusting the way the approved, the incurred funds are being submitted to the town, because we want to tap the CPC and grant money for all its work. That will relieve some, maybe all, maybe most, maybe even all of the pressure that we put on the conservation fund finishing this project. If there's a little overage or anything, happily we'll cover it. But this document right here will reconfigure how we're invoicing the town for reimbursement or for payments, which accounts we have. The CPC money, all of it totals less than $10,000, and the small individual things cost much less than that. So the chairperson of the Community Preservation Committee is authorized to sign approval for that. We anticipate that will happen.
How does it all come to less than $10,000? Oh, you mean?
So I'm looking at this $9,323.25 total that's represented by this set of things here. These are things that we're reprogramming. It may not be all the things that are going to be due eventually, but the things we already submitted that would have been covered by conservation, we're reprogramming it so it'll be covered by CPC.
Didn't we submit Johnson's and Dandell's?
You mean the big ones?
Yeah.
That's long ago. That's done. This is for the things that are still in our hands. How would you explain it, Lon? I'm not doing a good job.
Like, say last meeting we had some warrants that had to do with Bay Circuit Trail. We submitted it to accounting, but then we reconfigured it, so instead of it coming out of our conservation fund, it's going to come out of the fund out of CPC.
No, I
have the list.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, where did Dandell's and Johnson's?
That came mostly from the grant. That was total $94,000 and change, and those have been paid.
Are you talking about those ones? The ones
That's
that
not here.
So the ones that we just previously submitted to accounting, Gina's going to hold on to move them to the CPC. So this motion would be for you guys to sign, and then the invoices in the back will show what's gonna be moved to the CPC,
Yeah.
for now,
The large
just for now.
invoices totaling $94,000. All right,
But we also have 9,000 from Johnson and Crash Meadows, and 5,500 or something from Dan Delphine.
the Meadows I don't think are on here. This is, I don't think we've processed that, right?
Stairway is on
The
here?
stairway is here, 5,800.
Yeah.
Reimbursement for materials, 1898. Reimbursement for more materials, 209.97. The fees for the quantity, for the trail team to stay at $80. Reimbursement for boiler materials, $607 and change. And other reimbursements for pressure treated is about a dozen different things, wood and nails, like 2,442. And
What happened to Johnson's bill? No.
that's not on this list. I don't think we submitted.
No, we,
Could I maybe clarify it a little bit? There are three categories of fundings here. One is the stuff that's already been paid by the Conservation Commission. What we have to do in that case is we have to get the accountant to make a journal entry to put that against the grant and/or CPC.
Right.
That hasn't been calculated and it hasn't been done.
But my question is Johnson's bill?
His bill is in that.
Okay. That's
His
my
bill was paid.
All right, that's my question.
His bill was
It's
paid
paid.
by the Conservation Commission. The second category is what you're looking at. Bills that are here and haven't yet been paid that are going to be paid by the CPC. And the third category is stuff that hasn't come in yet.
Okay,
And we're going to give them directly to CPC.
all right,
Right.
okay,
So,
that's my question.
this memo and signature page is covered by, is followed by all the bills that it refers to. And that's the total, what it refers to right here in our hands, is 9323.
So these are unpaid bills that we're signing to pay with money from CPC.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you for that clarification. Any further questions? Because I think it would be sensible to have a motion to submit this stack of invoices to, as indicated to CPC for payment. Be delighted to have a motion for that.
I'll do that.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Move to go, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Because some of them are for you. Makes sense. Good point. I will sign this. And you might not want to sign this either.
Someone that we should get our capital projects manager, conservation credit card.
But you know what I forgot to mention earlier is Candell donated all the patio block used for shims.
Carol, who?
So it was
Kind of.
I guess I forget to tell you later.
Thank you. Yes. There may be other things here. I see other
Oh, yeah.
vouchers.
Yep.
These are for, again,
No, I have to do the first thing.
I'm just looking to see what it
Yep.
is
Yep.
for surveillance system, for Hanson Express bill, for WB Mason office supplies, and for
Mileage.
mileage for our esteemed agent.
Oh, no, that's it.
I'm told reliably that we just need to sign the top page of these, which is a nice thing to hear.
Doesn't carry half a mile.
Mine's a little bit, it's probably lighter than I don't know.
Lighter than 124.
When you combine the, I don't know how much of a work surface you stand on, when you combine the height of even an 8-foot ladder, which you'd only be supposed standing 6 feet up, with the height of the person who's standing on it, maybe that would be enough. An 8-foot step ladder is not that heavy.
Yeah. I have a lightweight 4-footer I just bought. I can strap that on my backpack,
But even if, I have a fiberglass 8-footer, which the sort of an electrician would use, it's light. And, my thinking is combined with the height of an average person. You guys are all average or above average.
And they're each.
Yeah. Depending on how much manipulation is required. Now, if there's a couple of lag bolts, or
a couple of screws.
Yeah.
I've got an 8-foot fiberglass myself.
Yeah, this thing probably weighs, what, 30 pounds, 35, 40 pounds max, maybe less.
Weigh that much, and you can load it in one shoulder.
Yeah, you could even hook your shoulder through it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a little pad thing there to bang around. But, yeah, I mean, that would not be remotely hard to do.
The commission leaves it in your capable discussion. Yeah.
Because the other thing you remember is, even if somebody wants that, they're not gonna hump the ladder and to get up to it.
And that's my point.
Yeah, that's why you don't need to be 20 feet in the air, all you need to be out of reach.
How are we doing with the papers?
So let's look at this product and project.
Well, have we got them back yet? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I do have a question for at least a couple of us here. The number of hours that we volunteered to support the Blind Hill project, Dave, you probably told me, I just don't remember, my apologies. Have we done either a memo or an email or something to the office for that, or are we just still working on that?
By hours?
Your estimating? No?
I'm tracking.
Okay.
Yeah.
What we ought to do is get, at least as of pick a date X, submit, and I would think an email to the office would
Yeah, it's easy. I got my book and said,
okay. Just send a message.
Itemized or just a total?
Perfect world, a rough itemization. This by task.
Yep, I'll do that.
Coordinated work with, work of contractors, purchasing, you're running out of purchase materials.
Well, I didn't track it back last fall, if you want to go back that far.
Do what's reasonable. Don't,
I probably can create something.
yeah. It would be legitimate to count those hours, but what will happen is we will be able to use this construct in our table of what the town's contribution is in terms of matching the state funds. And give full credit, because I was wrong, it's not $37 an hour, it's 31, not 27, it's $31 an hour. So,
Right.
to get the natural cash,
I've been tracking it since the beginning of the year, specifically.
Sure.
But last year I had to take it kind of an estimate.
well, maybe give a summary for this year and a summary for last year, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And if you get that from Lon, that would be out. All right, we're out of items on the agenda, and I believe there's a motion to adjourn. Did I see that?
You heard that, yes.
Do I hear a second?
Yes, you did, second.
Is there a third? Discussion, not in order. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? We stand adjourned at